Hi, ArcfieldWeather.com meteorologist Paul Dorian here on Monday morning, July the 14th. Very similar weather situation across the northeastern part of the nation. Very humid, very warm, unsettled conditions for the next several days. Looks like there can be some strong to severe thunderstorms later today into tonight across the Mid-Atlantic region into the northeast, associated with a slow-moving, strong cold frontal system. Flooding downpours are certainly on the table. Again, later today into tonight, there can also be some of these severe thunderstorms producing damaging wind gusts. Kind of the same scenarios possible on Tuesday afternoon and evening. And again, this pattern looks like it'll stick around for the remainder of the week in the Mid-Atlantic region, the northeast U.S., across much of the eastern third of the nation, with frequent bouts with showers and thunderstorms. We have multiple disturbances coming through the atmosphere, basically from west to east, and we'll kind of highlight that over the next few minutes. Before we get into the rainfall possibilities here, the flooding rainfall possibilities here, let's take a quick look at the tropical scene here. We do have a wave that is a tropical wave just off the east coast of Florida. It looks like it will move west over the next couple of days and has a chance of becoming a named tropical storm. It would be the fourth one of the season. So we'll have to keep our eye on this. There's no certainty that that happens, but I think it's a better than even chance that this system intensifies over the next several days, and it ultimately could have an impact on the northern Gulf Coast region. So again, something we'll monitor closely over the next several days. Well, speaking of rainfall, here is the estimate by last night's 0Z run of the GFS for the next 10 days. And quite a few highlights here. First of all, that tropical wave dumps a lot of rainfall on Florida. You know, earlier this year, Florida was going through a lot of drought conditions here, as well as similar to much of the eastern U.S., and all that has gone away here. We have this tropical system. Over the next few days, it'll produce additional rainfall on the Florida Peninsula. And again, that wave of low pressure could move in westward into the Gulf over the next couple of days, but potentially intensify and cause some enhanced rainfall right here across places like Louisiana, Mississippi, the northern Gulf region. Meanwhile, a lot of rainfall here across the Midwest into the Mid-Atlantic region. Again, this is over the next 10 days. We could have some flooding downpours later this afternoon and evening. Places like D.C., Philadelphia, New York City, where grounds are very well saturated. This is an indication of monsoonal rainfall here, where you get the moisture coming in off the eastern Pacific and the western Gulf region right into the higher elevations of Mexico, and then a lot of that moisture ends up producing some showers and thunderstorms, primarily afternoon and evening showers and thunderstorms across the Four Corners region. Not at all unusual to see monsoonal rains in the southwestern states, especially during the second half of the summer season. That flooding that took place in New Mexico about a week and a half or so ago is really associated with monsoonal rainfall, afternoon and evening heavy showers and thunderstorms. So certainly Arizona, New Mexico, and even into Colorado and Utah can see some of those afternoon and evening showers and thunderstorms. Really the only place that is not hit by rainfall over the next 10 days or so. It looks like much of California stays dry, as well as much of Oregon out here along the west coast here. But for the rest of the country, quite a wet weather pattern over the next 5 or 10 days or so. Well, before we focus in on the severe weather threat in the northeastern part of the nation later today and tonight, I wanted to take a kind of a longer-term view by using the European ensemble run. What we're looking at are 500 milliwatt height anomaly maps here for rolling 5-day periods going out towards the end of July. Here we begin the day here. This is really the 500 millibar height anomaly forecast map for the next 5 days, the average over the next 5 days. With this ridging just kind of stationed here over the Mid-Atlantic, over the northeast U.S., we're kind of stuck in a rut here. And that rut includes very warm and humid environmental conditions here. And if you just move forward in time here, this is now out days 4 to 8. The 17th to the 22nd of July, and go out even farther in time, all the way out days 7 to 11, which is the 20th to 25th. That ridge just remains stuck in place. And so we may not be out of the woods yet in the eastern part of the nation for this very warm and humid weather pattern. Could last into next week the way this is looking here, at least at the upper levels. Here we go all the way out towards the end of the month of July. This is days 11 to 15, July 24th to the 29th. Still, ridging in control here. This time it's kind of centered back over the south central states where it should be very hot and likely pretty dry out in the southwestern part of the nation, the south central states, I should say. But here in the mid-Atlantic, northeast, no real sign of some cooler air coming in from the north and west. At least that's the way it looks this morning, and we'll hope that changes over the next few days here. It'll go all the way out towards, again, the end of July, and ridging is pretty much in control across the nation. Well, with this tropical air mass in place in places like D.C., Philadelphia, New York City, all over the mid-Atlantic region, northeast U.S., all it takes is a little bit of a short wave in the upper part of the atmosphere, kind of associated with a little bit of enhanced upper-level winds, for example, and can often detect by looking at the lines here on this vorticity field forecast map. You see a dip like that, that represents an area of vorticity, an area of spin or rotation in the upper part of the atmosphere, and that is your short wave right here as we begin the day here on Monday, and it moves right here overhead of the mid-Atlantic region by midday, and then into the late afternoon, early evening hours, right over that I-95 corridor region. That doesn't look all that impressive, but all it takes is a relatively weak shortwave with this kind of humidity in the air, this kind of moisture available for some afternoon and evening showers and thunderstorms. And again, with high dew points, tropical downpours are certainly on the table. And some of these thunderstorms produce what we call downdrafts, so that could result in a very localized area of damaging wind gusts, basically winds from high up in the thunderstorms suddenly rush down towards the surface in a downdraft type of thunderstorm. So yes, flooding downpours is the primary concern, but even with this kind of a pattern, you can have some damaging wind gusts. All these thunderstorms over the last few days, and showers as well, have been very, very slow moving, and that sets the stage for some flash flooding. The grounds are very well saturated. I expect to see very slow moving showers and thunderstorms this afternoon and evening, as well as on Tuesday afternoon and Tuesday evening. In fact, let's push forward in time here into the day on Tuesday and see again another little vorticity area showing up early to midday on Tuesday, and that moves slowly to the east. Another short wave here showing up on the maps on Wednesday, and then just have a series of these weak short waves. But again, with this kind of moisture available, this is all it takes to set off some afternoon and evening showers and thunderstorms. Most of this activity will be during the PM hours. It takes a few hours of daytime heating to really start to destabilize the atmosphere. And again, out in the southwestern states, the wind flow here will be right like this from the eastern Pacific Ocean into the Four Corners states. That is your monsoonal type of wind flow here that will result in afternoon and evening showers and thunderstorms. Again, places like Arizona and New Mexico, that area was hit hard a week or so ago, but Colorado and Utah as well will get in on some of the action. Well, let's wrap up with the surface forecast maps from the 0Z run of the GFS. And here is a surface reflection of that tropical wave. And again, it looks like it'll kind of spill over to the west here, across the Florida Peninsula, then out over the open waters of the Gulf, and potentially can intensify enough into a named tropical storm and ultimately impact the northern Gulf region, something we'll monitor closely over the next few days here. Now, let's move forward. The radar will start to light up by the late morning, early afternoon hours in the Mid-Atlantic region, probably beginning with numerous showers and thunderstorms across the central Mid-Atlantic, the western Mid-Atlantic, and then they'll move to the east to the I-95 corridor region. Again, this afternoon and evening can see some severe thunderstorms up and down that I-95 corridor region from D.C. to Baltimore to Philadelphia, New York City, even all the way up to Boston. Flooding, downpours possible, flash flooding possible, even some damaging wind gusts. And look at all this rainfall over the Florida Peninsula by this evening. That is associated with that tropical system, and again, kind of scattered afternoon and evening showers and thunderstorms out across the Four Corners region here. Now we move forward here. Just kind of have a rinse and repeat type of pattern here in the Mid-Atlantic region over the next several days, with numerous disturbances coming across from west to east, producing scattered showers and thunderstorms here. Notice this heaviest rainfall kind of shifting a little bit to the west here by the time we get to tomorrow night here, as that tropical wave slides to the west. And here we go into the midweek. We'll have to watch this area right here for possible development of a named tropical system here. Again, threat for afternoon and evening showers and thunderstorms continues on Wednesday afternoon and evening in the Midwest, in the Mid-Atlantic region. Certainly flooding, downpours possible. Now, GFS starting to depict some heavy rainfall here over southeastern Louisiana that could be associated with a named tropical system here. Again, we're talking midweek, we're talking the northern Gulf Coast region, and here we go into the day on Thursday. The same sort of unsettled weather pattern continues from the Midwest to the Mid-Atlantic to the Northeast U.S. and a lot of Gulf moisture here. Again, that could be associated with a named tropical system. Whether or not it becomes named, there will be a lot of rainfall over the next several days from Florida to throughout the northern Gulf states here over the next several days. So that's it for now. For ArcFieldWeather.com, this has been meteorologist Paul Dorian.